G'day guys, Joe Cross from the movie Fat, Sick and Nearly Dead and rebootwithjoe.com. Right now, I am standing in the Santa Monica Farmers Market. It's a Wednesday morning, it's 9 a.m. and it is action-packed. There is many stands, many farmers, many local people, community, they're all out in full action. We've got commerce, we've got exchange, we've got trade, we've got lots of incredible produce, lots of love being shared, sold, and later on going to be consumed. If anyone knows me, you know I love visiting farmers markets no matter where I am. I love everything about them. A couple of weeks ago, I was walking through this farmers market and I bought some apples. And I was sort of doing some thinking and I said, hold on a second. We kind of take this for granted, everything just being set up here. We rock up either on a Saturday or a Sunday or a Friday or whatever day to our local market. But what about the journey? What about the journey of the produce? What it's gone, where it's come from, how it gets here, the farmers, the sellers, all of the people connected. So I thought I would take a look.
I bought this land in 1992. I started planting the trees that same year, and then we started planting different blocks. This was a 30-acre block to start. We've got about 12 different varieties in here, right in this little zone, with the majority being our more popular apples like Fuji, Cameo, Gala, Pink Lady, Honeycrisp, and various other ones. A lot of years we try to take down about 10% of the trees so that we keep the orchard young, and then we graft them and top work them over and change them over to the variety we want to move into for the future. So it's a lot of effort, but it works out nicely. I love that color. Breakfast.
That's right, it's the chance.
Look how clean the fruit is. There's no russet on there at all. We have one of the finest climates in the world for growing palm fruit and stone fruit. But the palm fruit has such tender flesh because the way that we have world-class temperature swings. We'll go even in August when it's hot, we'll go from the low 40s routinely up to 100, 110. Last year we got to 115. Which is just a huge temperature swing, which the apples really like to get the complexity of the flavor. We do everything with hand because to get see how this is a nice open entry to the inside of the tree? Because you have to enter these trees a lot of times a year. You have to get inside there to thin. You have to get inside there with the sun. You have to get inside there to pick. You have to get inside there to prune. You have to get inside there to check the fruit. Sometimes the guys get a little bit lazy because I kind of want them to go fast thinning. It's not a perfect job. If you tried to do it perfect, you'd never finish. So it works like this. I want you to taste this peach down here. To me, these are the best ones. Miguel's been coming up here for probably 10 years or more.
Yeah. You get to learn a lot, you know. He's a good teacher, you know, because he has with every story comes a teachable moment. There's always something new, because sometimes you talk with people and they forget that they already told you something. Now, David has a lot to teach. So every time I do pay attention because there's something in there that I'm gonna add on to what I already know. Because, you know, my family in Portugal grows grapes for port. So we grow things in terraces. We have our own orchard because back then there was no grocery stores everywhere. So you can tomatoes, you can your fruits for the year. You dry your onions, your potatoes, all that. So coming heavily into a section that's just fruit, it's mind blowing. Because, you know, one day I want to have my own orchard. So I want to be able to have a sustainable living center where I feel more prepared than what a school could prepare me for. So this is priceless information and education.
I was a business guy and wore a suit and tie in an office for 30 years before I did this, and I really didn't know much about it other than when I first came here to do this, there was almost no wine grapes, no vineyards. There were some coming, and I didn't want to do what everybody else did. So I put in something that people could actually eat rather than just drink. There's plenty for them to drink. The biggest challenge is just to keep on top of it, get the right amount of labor that you can spend, because ultimately our idea is to make a profit selling what we grow. McGill has a good sense of marketing because he's been doing it for quite a lengthy period of time, and he knows how to handle each customer differently too. So he's training them all the time, whether they understand it or not. And
Oh, come on, it's fruit. I'm gonna chase you.
we used to have this one gal, Julia Childs, who always would come and buy our fruit because she determined ours was the best quality as far as eating, and whatever she did with it, she was a cook and stuff, and people would gather around when she came to our stand, and they'd actually listen to what she said, and she would almost teach right down to the day when she would have to come in her wheelchair even. She helped a lot in training some of our clientele.
It's important to see that knowledge being passed on. You know, and at farmers markets, every time I see a grandmother with a kid, they take extra time to explain to the kids about all kinds of different things. You know, they're in a different space in their heads. It's good. The holy grail of farmers markets, in my opinion, is Santa Monica Farmers Market. We do lots of farmers markets, but I believe the Santa Monica one is the one that has the biggest palette of flavors and colors and product. You get to speak with the most amount of farmers there, from the guy that brings eggs, from the guy that has chickens, like, you know, Rocky Canyon. You'll speak with Stephen Murray from Murray Farms. You know, the guy has a huge farm. He doesn't have to do farmers markets. Why does he do it? Because he digs it, and he's doing the same thing we do. He's passing on that information. He will go to schools and he will talk to these classrooms about, you know, because nobody wants to grow up to be a farmer nowadays. Everybody wants to be a doctor, a lawyer. Everybody's thinking about the bottom line being the dollar. It's not having to be. You know, some of us should do something that lightens up our hearts, like David did, you know, like I do, like my family does. There's so many hands between the harvesting and the final consumer that it's kind of, you get lost in it. And with a farmer's market, it's such a blessing because you get to speak mostly with a person that, if not the farmer, somebody that has something to do with the farm.